Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Crypto Convo, series where we cover exciting price action in the land of cryptocurrencies and crypto-related stocks. We did close out the week on a high note, but I do personally expect more volatility ahead, both to the upside and downside, of course, depending on which play we're talking about. That will make a little more sense in a bit. But green or red, I'm always excited to talk crypto with you guys, so let's get into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, it's going to be quick, TradingView. So we're going to be spending all of our time on TradingView, you guys, talking technicals, talking price action. I'm sorry if some of you guys missed the news articles we used to cover a lot. There's a lot of great YouTube channels out there that do cover those news articles, but price action has just been so exciting lately that I want to focus solely on the charts. Maybe one day we will go back to articles, but I want to spend all of our time here on TradingView for the future of crypto convos, at least for the foreseeable future. Okay, so TradingView, we will go over the following names today in this order, going down the watch list. Kicking it off with the king, Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin, Ether, and ChainLink are the three cryptos we're covering. XNET, Junlei, RIOT Blockchain, and Marathon Patent Group, RIOT Mara, good old Bitcoin miners are the stocks we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so, and as I said, I do expect some upside for some of these and some downside. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. We have been talking about the altcoin cycle a lot lately. And as I've been saying, the same thing happened in all the previous crypto bull markets. You're going to see points in time, a few weeks, like spans of a few weeks at a time throughout the bull market where Bitcoin does well. Bitcoin outperforms Ether and altcoins. And then times where Ether and altcoins outperform Bitcoin. And I think right now, just a little spoiler alert, I do think Ether and altcoins do have a better chance at seeing a pop back to the upside, seeing some green, but I do expect a little more downside for Bitcoin. So I am excited to talk price targets. We got price targets for each of these plays with you guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, simple, talking price action, but it's always exciting. Okay, so before we do dive into anything, as always, you guys, I will ask you to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're invested in any of the cryptos or stocks we're going to be talking about. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this, and of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link in the description. If you want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I do update every single trading day. With every update, I also send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. So again, you guys, it's a complete breakdown, all crypto stocks, not just cryptos, EVs, biotechs, etc. There's a lot of exciting plays out there. If you want to know exactly how I'm personally trading my portfolio, what my portfolio comprises of, that's updated on a daily basis during trading hours, during market hours, every trading day. I do that, and then I send out a pretty comprehensive newsletter explaining my thoughts. Big shout out to the Waves fam, as always. Love you guys. But yeah, if you're interested in checking that out, first link in the description. If not, though, no worries at all. Let's get into some price action. So I did leave some of this stuff on here. Actually, the majority of this is untouched, aside from literally this red arrow right here, since last week when we covered it. You guys can check the tape if you doubt that. But we did call, I think last time we did a crypto convo, and I analyzed Bitcoin for you guys, at least on the YouTube channel in a video, was here. We were looking at this wedge pattern that was printing, and I said if we do break out, if we see a significant breakout, we will break out to the upside. Boom, once again, test a short-term target up near 50,000. That didn't happen. In all honesty, once Bitcoin broke below this, and I saw it using it as support, that was a pretty clear sign to me that we were going to see a continuation in the downtrend. Okay, and that's exactly what happened. So first price target hit pretty much on the head, you guys. Again, shout out, we just covered this in the newsletter yesterday. Pretty much on the head, you guys. I swear I did not touch this green price target. On the head, broke this initial trend line, this cyan line right here, that has acted as a long-term, more medium to long-term line of both support and resistance for Bitcoin. You see it prove itself right here, back at the beginning of the year, and we did break below that. And now that we've broken below that, we did close a few 4 hours below. Okay, now I can finally move that just because I wanted to flex a little bit. Nah, it's not, again, you guys, it's not to brag, but it's just funny when that plays out. Obviously, the luck plays into it, but it's just years of looking at charts, staring at charts. And that's the byproduct of it sometimes, okay? So, I do expect more downside. We did break above. We did break back above. We did close four hours actually below this trend line right here, which gives me reason to believe that this is just a lower high right here. This is just a little dead cat bounce from that initial sell-off, from that 2-day sell-off. You can see right here, dead cat bounce. I do see more downside in the future. Like we've been saying, you guys, I've been saying this for, again, weeks now. I've been expecting a pullback in Bitcoin to 24K. 24K has been my ultimate price target for the past probably 2 weeks now, just because it's gone parabolic, you guys. It's gone absolutely parabolic over the course of time for such a large asset. That's crazy price action. And say it along with me. Corrections are a healthy part of every. Why do I scuff that every time? Corrections are a healthy part of every bull market, okay? And you need to weed out the weak. You need to weed out the weak hands, make room for the strong hands, all right? That's just how bull markets work. And again, like, just to sum it up, you guys, pretty much so I'll give you guys the downside price target, and then I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking is ahead, because I think there's going to be a huge move ahead to the upside after that. So downside 24K. I'm not going to try to rationalize that anymore. It's just the initial high acted as a significant ceiling for like, what was that, like 10 days? Nah, for a week or so in December. Super significant ceiling. Once we broke that $24,000 ceiling, that's when we really saw this parabolic rally start to kick off. Okay, so again, it's so common in bull markets and bubbles and whatever, just parabolic stocks, for them to retrace to their initial high of the rally, and that is 24K, and that's what I've expected for a long time. I'm a buyer personally at 24K. Always remember, you guys, not financial or investment advice. This is just my opinion. This could absolutely not play out the way I expect it to. So 24K is my personal price target. That's where I'm very comfortable buying Bitcoin at those levels, and I think that's where a lot of institutional interest is gonna scoop it up really quick. So keep a close eye on this, you guys. This stuff, again, if you thought it could go up fast, it can come down even faster. Okay, so stay on your toes. Really stay on your toes. That applies to all of these stocks. All these cryptos, all these stocks that we're gonna be talking about. So 24K to the downside. After that, I think we maybe go sideways, bounce around here, and then go I think we're going to see another parabolic move, okay? And that's just how things work. You see the first wave, good old two-wave theory. You see the first wave, bubble pops, you see some capitulation, some correction, and then you see that second wave initiated, all right? And that is definitely what I think is going to happen here. I think we are going to see a second parabolic rally over the next few months here, and that would take us. What makes sense to me is using this initial high setback on December 16th, roughly at around $23,000. So 24,000, again, exactly when like the base that sets where I think we're going to correct to. You take this high, the initial high, you take the top of about 42K back a couple weeks ago when we saw that top at 42K, and then you just use those two as a point of reference for your overall uptrend on the medium-term uptrend, and that would take us to a high of about $80,000. Say we hit it at the end of February. Again, you guys, this is just where I happen to draw these out to. I do think it's going to take some time to play out. I do think it's going to go crazy, but things don't happen overnight, you guys. So I think maybe end of February, like, things cool off a little bit, let buyers start to get back in there, gain some more steam, and then I think end of February, maybe early March, we do ultimately test this trend line again, which would take us to just as a ballpark over $80,000. And I think I think that's very reasonable for Bitcoin on this short to medium term bull run of 2021, of Q1 2021. Okay, so that is Bitcoin, you guys. Moving on to ETH. So again, I do see more potential in altcoins, and I'll tell you why right now. So Ether did hit its all-time high. Wait, did it hit its all-time high? I'm pretty sure Ether hit its all-time high. I can't remember if I know it was 14 something, but oh man, I should for sure know that. I'm sorry, you guys. Please let me know in the comments that I'm an idiot and I should know that. But I believe Ether hit its all-time high on January 19th at about 1440. Okay, so if not, it's like right there. Regardless, I do see more upside for Ether. You can see here, although Ether did break this very, very significant line of support beginning December 23rd. This is a very, very strong line of support here, you guys. And just yesterday, it did technically break below this. It did not. It was so close. I mean, that's right on the line. I'd consider that a close above because it was immediately eaten back up. So if Ether does close a 4-hour below this line of support, probably if Ether closes a 4-hour candle below $1,100, there we go. Slow down. If Ether does close a 4-hour candle below $1,100, then that would give me reason to believe that we'll probably see more downside, okay? And if we see more downside, it makes sense, similar to Bitcoin, that we test the first high of this rally before Ether went absolutely parabolic. So I would consider this like 790. That is probably my base price target for Ether. It would make sense to come down. This is the initial, like, very little initial high before literally going absolutely parabolic. So 790 is my absolute downside price target for Ether if things get pretty ugly. Which is a significant correction from its highs, of course. That's almost a 50% correction from its highs, but 50% corrections are not uncommon in these bull markets. That said, I personally think Ether is going to see another move up because it did reclaim this channel so quickly, and this is a nice beam-like. I love those good old beam-like ascending channels, those megaphone ascending channels, and I think it's more likely, once again, because Bitcoin's seen some love. Ether is still below its all-time high. Bitcoin is by far at its all-time high when referencing 2017 highs, okay? So I think Ether and altcoins could have their time to shine. Of course, ChainLink falls in that as well. We'll talk about that next. But price target for Ether to the upside. Again, I'm more bullish on altcoins right now than Bitcoin. That's just the cycle. That's just the cycle, you guys. That doesn't mean I like altcoins more than Bitcoin fundamentally. That's just how the cycles work, okay? So we did test the bottom side of this channel. Technically broke below it, but immediately, again, was eaten back up with buy orders and reclaimed this channel. And I think it's likely that we test the top side. Say we hit it early February 4th, just where I drew this price target. That would take us to over $2,100 per Ether. And that's super sick if you're a holder of Ether, of course. So again, you guys always know my money is where my mouth is. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens here in Ether. Keep in mind, if it breaks this, like I just said, if it breaks below at $1,100, I think we could see a greater correction. But for now, I remain bullish. Moving on to ChainLink, and then we'll talk the fun stuff. We'll talk the stockies. Okay, so ChainLink looks a little weird to me, and that's why I don't have much drawn here. I don't really have price targets in all honesty for ChainLink. But if Ether and altcoins do in fact start to assert more dominance, which they already have been over the past week, and I do assume that trend will continue. I do think that Link will blast back up to the upside. Again, we talked about this ascending channel in Link right here, this more steep ascending channel. So these two cyan lines right here that I'm keeping here acted as a very significant channel, very strong lines of support and resistance for ChainLink throughout this channel. It did break above this. It has created this more short term since the beginning of the year, January 3rd. It has created this more this steeper ascending channel, acting similar, like dipping below it, but reclaiming it. And once it reclaims it, it usually tests the top. So if we do, again, if altcoins do assert some dominance, if Link closes a 4 hour, in my opinion, above 23.7, we'll just call it yeah, $23.50 if Link closes a 4 hour above, let's just call it $24. If Link closes above 24 hours on a 4 hour candle, I do expect us to come test the top side of this channel. That would take us to about say we hit it January 25th, $28.50. So as always, you guys, I do advise you always do your own research, of course, but draw your own. Go on TradingView. Get a TradingView account, draw your own trend lines. It's very, if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it. It's very easy, and yeah, you guys can keep an eye on it for yourself, okay? So moving on to the stocks, XNET. So I do want to say XNET had a great day today, and it just, the more I look at this, the more bullish I get on this. So we're actually going to go to the 1 hours for XNET, RIOT, and Mara, okay? It just makes it a little more digestible for you guys, okay? So XNET did have a great day. It technically broke out of this long-term downtrend. Again, this is a very, very janky bull flag right here. So from a technical perspective, XNET has initiated a breakout, and it only makes sense to me that XNET test this medium-term high. This high set here back on December 1st. It is the first reference point, of course, second reference point on January 7th. If we do see another run up, that would take us to $7. So my ultimate upside price target for XNET is $7. And you guys may be thinking, why would I think that this will do well if BTC does not look so hot right now? And that's because XNET is more of a blockchain play. XNET is a cloud play, like true blockchain technology play. And I expect XNET to be more correlated with altcoins as opposed to Bitcoin. Again, as more people learn about what RIOT and Mara are, we talked, if you guys remember a few months back, talking about RIOT and Mara, how they were showing more signs of correlation to altcoins than Bitcoin. But now the market is becoming more educated, which is a great thing. You want that. You want a more educated market. People understand that RIOT and Mara are paid in Bitcoin as Bitcoin miners. So I do expect RIOT and Mara to show more direct correlation with Bitcoin with time as more investors become more educated on what the companies actually do. And that's why I believe that RIOT and Mara will see a further pullback, which we'll get into right after this. But because I do believe XNET will show more correlation with altcoins in the altcoin space, I do expect XNET to outperform the rest of these crypto-related stocks. Okay, so very bullish on XNET. Again, you guys keep in mind this. Oh man, I really like the look of this chart. I love these. This is like textbook two-wave. You see the first parabolic rally, bubble pops, capitulation, sideways movement. This is about as sideways as it gets right here over the course of like almost 2 weeks right here, 10 days, just going directly sideways. Technically broke out of this medium-term downtrend right here. It's like 10-day downtrend, and I do expect us to see another move up. When that happens, I don't know. Maybe we hit it over here. Maybe we hit it over here at 7:30. But I do expect us to test this yellow trend line right here, which would take us to $7 plus XNET, and that's a pretty move up, considering it's at $4.30 right now. Moving on to the bears. You guys know I love RIOT and Mara. Those are my day ones. Those are my OGs. Pretty much built this channel off RIOT and Mara. But that doesn't mean that this chart still doesn't look insane. Okay? So we'll get rid of these fibs. These actually don't need to be here. So I'll get rid of that too right now. Okay. This looks way crazier on a 4 hour. Keep in mind, you guys, this is just November. This is just a couple months ago. Okay. This is not even 2 months ago. Actually, this is just about 2 months ago. I'm just losing track of time, you guys. This is about 2 months ago, almost exactly 2 months ago right here, when we saw this initial breakout in both RIOT and Mara. RIOT in mid-November, just 2 months ago, was at $4. It went to a high of $30. That's close to an 8x. Okay, so RIOT was up 8x just over the course of 2 months. All right, and that's great. RIOT, you guys know I love RIOT. Fundamentally, RIOT is an amazing company. They deserve all this love, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to act. It's not going to see some volatility. It's not going to act like a bubble, because when you get to these, when you see price action like this, an 8x in 2 months, that's when you get into bubble territory. No matter how fundamentally solid the company is, that's just the game. What goes up must come down. And although I do love RIOT and Mara, I see crazy potential. I think these can hit triple digits over the course of this year easily. That doesn't mean that corrections aren't a healthy part of a bull market. Okay, so let's talk RIOT and Mara. Again, you guys, this is a chart, another chart I didn't change just to show you guys like how we were on it with this one. We were super on it with this one. So this, again, this I did not touch this since my last analysis on RIOT, which was probably earlier this week for the newsletter, but it's following this pretty darn closely. And I do expect, as I've said before, this is my first downside price target for RIOT. If we hit it January 28th, that would take us to a $15.50 RIOT. All right, and the reason for that is because that's a very significant line of support on this overall uptrend. Again, RIOT and Mara are both in those textbook beam-like trajectories, those megaphone ascending channels. And RIOT, this is a very, very solid, like this. I'm very, 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 why does that keep happening? I'm very, very, very confident that RIOT will ultimately come down to about $15.50. I'm personally comfortable buying at $16. Don't get greedy. Don't have to get greedy here, but $15.50 is my ultimate downside price target. Granted, of course, it does hit it on January 28th, which is coming up pretty soon. Similar for Mara, but worst case scenario, which I think is very, very unlikely because I do believe we're still in a bull market, is RIOT test this very long-term line. That was a very, very significant line of resistance over the course of the entire year. And a lot of times, you guys know, TA 101 stocks, when they see a pullback, will use prior significant lines of resistance or support as new support or resistance. Okay, and worst case scenario is we see RIOT pull back here. We're gonna have to start expanding that a little bit, but say we see that it takes us to about an $8.50 RIOT if we see a pullback all the way to down here. I think that's unlikely. I think this is far, far more likely that we hit $15.50, but I do think it's very likely. I think it's very, very likely that we come to test this line of support prior to continuing the overall uptrend. All right, so $15.50 price target for RIOT. Mara is very similar. Let's take a look at that. Mara, again, is in a similar ascending channel right here. Just using these, I think it's very likely that Mara also comes. Mara is a little higher, actually, and Mara is getting really close. It actually almost touched to this trend line at $15.50 a few days ago. But because this trend line is so steep, it actually makes the price target for Mara, or my downside price target for Mara, a little higher. So if we do happen to hit it January 26th, say we hit it on the 28th, just because that's where I put RIOTs, say we hit it on the 28th, that would take us to a $17 Mara. Okay, so say Mara goes sideways for a little bit. Once again, RIOT and Mara always have a great way of playing catch up with each other. So it would make sense to me that RIOT $16, Mara maybe $17 or $16, depending on how they correct. That's not surprising to me at all. Worst case scenario for Mara is very similar, $8.50, just using this line. This is actually more similar to RIOT's trend line right here, which is far more bearish. So on this overall uptrend, this is technically, beginning in mid-November, this is technically the baseline of support for this massive, massive ascending channel. It's not even an ascending channel. It's like an ascending, it's an ascending right angle pretty much. Okay, so that makes it a lot more dangerous. I think it's more likely that, although Mara has all these institutional bars, $20, I know all that, you guys, but we're below it now, and I think we're going to go even lower. Even if there are those, again, not even sealed and set in stone buying like prices for Mara. It's just $20 is like what's on the table now, but if it continues to go down, that's obviously going to be renegotiated at a lower price. Okay, so that's important to understand as well. I think it's also likely $14 because we just use that as a significant ceiling here on December 24th and 26th before seeing this crazy parabolic move up in Mara up to $28. So $14 from $28 would be a perfect 50% correction. That's some easy math right there. So 50% correction would take us down to about $14.50. This is, again, testing these previous highs, these initial highs prior to this very significant move up. And that would actually make more sense to me. So I would say RIOT probably test that line of support because it's a little more solid. But I do think Mara probably will fake some people out, probably come here, bounce a little bit, but ultimately break below this line of support. People get scared, sell off, but I do think it will bounce off this like 1430 area to be very specific. And again, you guys, I'm literally just vocalizing my thoughts right now. I have no idea if any of this is going to play out. That's very important to keep in mind. Always take my words with a grain of salt. Always do your own research and stuff. I'm literally just speaking my thoughts out loud for you guys. So I do hope that brought you some value. The upside price targets for RIOT and Mara, I have no idea. But I mean, this is a very easy right here. Boom. That's something to look at. That's how you draw a trend line on the fly. So again, I'm very bullish if we do see Bitcoin ultimately rally to $70,000. I think it's possible. I mean, this is a little, I would say this is more conservative of a trend line right here. That's how I draw it. Not like disregard these kind of local highs, these high highs, and just go with the overall trend. Just use some, like, again, you guys, like that looks solid to me. That looks good. That's a pretty fair, pretty conservative trend line. And again, that's how I like to trade. A lot of traders probably will actually angle it like that, in all honesty, but I like to do things like that. Again, disregard the absolute highs and just go with the overall uptrend, because there's still some crazy price action here. So say we hit it at the beginning of March, that would take us to a $65 Mara, and it'd probably look very, very similar with RIOT, in all honesty. Okay, so of course we will cross that bridge when we come to it, you guys, but I do hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got some value out of it. As always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about any of these stocks. If you think RIOT and Mara are just going back to the moon, or if you agree and you think they're going to rip, and what you think of XNET, what you think of any of these as a company, what's your favorite altcoin, etc., etc. Always love talking to you guys. Always love learning from you guys, most importantly. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.